What's up? What's going on, everyone? Dave K here today with some more facts about me. Today, maybe diving into some of those secret facts about me you might not already know. You know, lots of these questions, maybe some of you've asked and I haven't gotten around to, or just things I haven't taken the time to share before, but some secret facts about Dave K here today. Let's dive into a few of them. So starting it off with a question I feel like I get asked all the time. I'm often asked, Dave, do you have a girlfriend? This is a question I'm hearing all the time. And there's a couple of reasons that I've hesitated to dive into it. But let me tell you here today what the answer to that question and why I've hesitated to dive into it. First of all, the answer to your question is no, I do not have a girlfriend. I have had some nice lady friends in the past, but I do not have a girlfriend at the present time. And let me tell you a little bit of the reason why. First of all, I'm hesitating to jump into that, but kind of also why that's not necessarily the biggest focus for me. Kind of a piece of that why I don't want to dive into that is because it's not the biggest focus for me, because I'm more focused on a couple of different things. First of all, I really want to develop for myself, this is kind of the way that my mind works, I want to develop some stability for myself, right? I want to be solid when it comes to, in terms of work. I want to be solid when it comes to savings. I want to have some of my investments together. You know, let's say maybe I've got a house at a certain point, you know, or something along those lines, some solid investments where I'm comfortable in that sense, in a lot of different ways. You know, I've moved a lot, again, whether it's for work or that sort of thing. I'd like to bring some stability to my own life first before I start to focus on that sort of thing. So it's not really something that I'm actively pursuing at the present time, and that's a big reason why I don't necessarily take the time to dive into it. And in addition, it's just like, again, it's not really a focus for me, and yeah, so, you know, whatever. Someday, I'm sure it'll happen. But yeah, right now, again, not a huge priority for me. So that's the answer to that question. Dave, do you see yourself staying in Florida? You know I've touched on, and many friends have asked, I've touched on the whole am I staying in Florida, whether it's this month or this quarter or whatever it is, and right now, obviously, things are tricky. But in a perfect world, Dave, let's say hypothetically in a perfect world, do you see yourself staying in Florida forever? And a reason I hesitate to answer this one is because the short answer is, I'm not so sure about that. And I know a lot of friends might be saying, Dave, what? You don't see yourself staying there long term? You don't see yourself kind of settling down in the long term in the Florida area? Let me tell you what I'm thinking. A couple of different things. At least in the shorter term. I don't know about long term. But in the shorter term, I'd love to be able to have the flexibility to travel around. Let's say I was working, I'd love to have the ability to be able to travel around and visit a variety of different locations and share those adventures with you. I feel like for me, that would be amazing, fantastic, so much fun. I'd love to go back and check out more of Hawaii. Maybe, you know, I was thinking about at some point, maybe I take some weeks and spend them in Hawaii and make that an entire vlog adventure, share some travel with you there. Or go back and see some friends in Texas. I love Texas a lot too. Obviously, so much to see in Florida. And there's even sides of Florida I haven't seen before. I've never been to Miami or Tampa. I'd love to check those out too. I'd love to go back, of course, to California and share more of that with you. And there's a good chance that that'll happen, obviously, at some point coming up here. And there's so many other places to see, obviously, outside of the United States as well. But those are a couple of the first thoughts, even within the U.S., that come to mind. So in the shorter term, I'd love to be able to, shorter term, not short term, you see, again, I need kind of some stability where I can maybe, you know, travel first in terms of enough savings and that kind of thing. But I'd love to be able to do some traveling adventures and share that with you. So that's my thought on that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts as well. Would that be fun to see? I know a lot of friends, this is another thing, I know a lot of friends love to see the theme parks and the Disney and that kind of thing in that Florida area, but I feel like that'd be so much fun for me, again, to be able to travel around, share new perspectives with you, check out new things, and that kind of thing. Another thing I'm not sure I've taken too much time to share with you is, Dave, what are your dreams, Dave? What do you really, you know, in the perfect world, again, we're going back to perfect world here, what would you absolutely love to be doing? What kind of impact would you love to have? And that sort of thing. So I'd like to take some time and dive into those facts about me here. And one of them is I've always been interested in, for a really long time, I've wanted to be in entertainment. You know, for a long time I wanted to be in movies, and I still really would love to be in movies. And a piece of this is, in terms of movies, we'll get back to that piece. But I feel like I really resonate with the funny and the comedy. So I can see myself doing a lot of humor type sketches too, again, whether it's in movies or just kind of come up with funny content to share with you here. I've been thinking about that a lot lately, is can I come up with some new funny videos to share with you, whether it's like telling jokes right here on camera or that sort of thing, something funny along those lines, or of course superhero stuff. I love superheroes and movies in that sense too, so I'd love to at some point be a superhero character in a movie. That would be amazing, like an Iron Man or something along those lines. Aspire to be, like a Robert Downey Jr. or something like that in terms of that Iron Man role in Marvel. I love the Marvel universe just all around, so who knows, maybe someday that'll happen. But those are a couple of my dreams, which maybe I haven't taken too much time to share with you. I feel like that'd be a lot of fun. But I also love the idea of being able to share my own kind of adventures with you. I've always had this dream to kind of work for myself and be able to do my own thing. And so being able to create these videos for me, for you, is such a meaningful thing for me. And so thank you again so much for being a part of these adventures. If you're new to the adventures, of course, welcome to it. And if you are a returning member, then of course, thank you so much for being a part of it. And thank you all for being here. Another secret fact or secret question about Dave, and I've been asked this question so many times. And the question is, as it goes, Dave, is it video games or Disney? If you had to choose one, is it video games or Disney? And I'm like, what kind of question is that? What do you mean, is it video games or Disney? That's a very tricky question for a couple of different reasons. They're in such different buckets, right? Disney is a company. We're talking about, let's just say simply put, theme parks, Disney theme parks, or video games. And it's a tricky question because I feel like for me, the best kind of life involves a variety of different types of fun and entertainment. I cannot see myself going out to the theme parks all the time, and I similarly don't see myself playing video games all day, every day. I think a good life and really enjoyment of life is just a nice combination of different things, being able to see new things, enjoy different adventures and perspectives. And so that's why that's a really tricky one for me to answer. If I had to pick one, if I were only to do one activity, if I were stranded on a desert island and I could only pick one, I would probably lean in the direction of video games. And the reason for that is I feel like I can play video games for more hours of a day, for days of a week, for weeks of a month straight, continuously, and still be very highly entertained. Whereas my feet would be getting hurt in theme parks walking around all the time. There's just too much temptation when it comes to food in those theme parks. The crowds can be tricky for me at times. I kind of like my own space sometimes. So if I had to pick one, that's why I would say video games, most likely. But again, I like a healthy mix, a combo of theme parks and video games and so much more. Again, I'd love to get some travel going as well. Obviously an interest in like finance and investment. If you haven't seen some of those videos, you can check that out, or the health videos as well. You can check some of those out. So much to share with you, but those are my thoughts on that particular question. And that takes us into another point, in case you didn't already know, in case I haven't touched on enough. If I were living, and if I were focusing on different places to live and different types of environments to be in, you may notice I kind of tend towards some more quiet places. I like to be not kind of in the midst of crowds. I like to not have to deal with heavy traffic or be on crowded trains or that sort of thing. So that's another kind of maybe lesser known fact about me, secret fact about me here. In the sense that, again, I kind of like some peace and quiet. I like some space. So in the sense that if I were kind of choosing between city and countryside, and a long time ago, I would have said right in the heart of the city, drop me in there. Now I feel like, yeah, I kind of like more like at least suburban, if not almost like a rural type feel to it, where I have my own space and I can do my own thing. And I'd love to still be able to go out and go to those theme parks, go to those grocery stores, restaurants, that kind of thing. But when I'm in my own space, I love to have my own space. So that's my answer to that question. Now here's another question, lesser known, lesser asked even, but kind of as a vision. I like to take this time to reflect on myself and kind of tell you more about myself and think more on myself. But in a perfect world, what would your videos that you're sharing with us be about? And that's a question I want to really dive into personally, share with you here, but also take some time to think about. Again, I touched on the comedy and the entertainment in that sense, funny videos to make you laugh. I like that idea, and I want to keep working with that and see if I can make something of that. And I'm thinking of a couple of different big YouTubers back in the day that I can think of who kind of have that style, but also kind of integrating that with music. And I like the musical style in some of those music videos. Again, some classics who have done videos like that as well. And to be able to combine the kind of funny and music, that'd be a lot of fun. So that's one thought that I think would be a lot of fun. Another thing is, of course, valuable stuff that you can use, whether that's happiness and positivity and health, you know, personal finance. I don't know if I'm as much an expert on that. But, you know, well, who knows? I don't have to be an expert on these things. And that sort of thing, you know, just kind of happiness. Again, you got health, you got exercise, all kinds of good stuff in that sense. And then, of course, just being able to share the travel. I'd love to be able to do some travel and share some fun traveling around adventures with you in that sense. So I feel like that'd be a fantastic time as well. So, again, I'd love to hear your thoughts on all these things, but I'm kind of, in terms of where I would love to be able to share content with you, I kind of love to be able to share all kinds of content with you. I was thinking about making some videos, and you may see these coming up, in terms of how to grow your YouTube channel, or those sorts of things. Maybe how to make a thumbnail, or something like that. So we'll have to see if that happens, but those are just some of the ideas going through my head. And those are a few of the secret facts about me, some of the lesser known facts about me, Dave. In case you haven't seen already, 50 Facts About Me Part 1, Part 2, those are both on my channel. Make sure you take some time to check those out if you are interested. And there's so many other facts about me. I got health facts about me and stuff like that. But those are the big ones, is Facts About Me, 50 Facts, has just general life stuff. And I think I've touched on a good bit of that here today as well. Thanks so much for being a part of the adventure with me. Are there any other questions that I didn't touch on about me specifically? We're talking about me specifically here in the comments below that you'd like to hear more about. Let me know what you think. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell to stay informed of future adventures. All kinds of fun variety I'm going to be bringing to you. And until then, play on.